But my name's Paul Edner. My badge number is P674, or Paul 674. And I've been the squad leader for the Cheyenne Citizens on Patrol for the last year and a half. We are elected to positions every January, and we serve for a year, and we could be reelected. But I've been squad leader for 2020 and starting 2021 as well. And I've been with the Citizens on Patrol program since 2005. I'm going to share a couple of, if this works here. Oh, there, okay. So part of that's covered up on my screen, so I'm going to read from another sheet. So the Citizens on Patrol program, COP, is an adjunctive volunteer-based program established with the Cheyenne Police Department. The COP program is designed to train and utilize volunteer citizens from the community as adjunct observers, assistants, and civilian law enforcement support to the Cheyenne Police Department. COP volunteers will be sworn in as community service officers. That's different than a police officer. So they'll be community service officers and perform ancillary support duties that do not require the services of sworn peace officers. The COP program is comprised of volunteers from the Cheyenne community who have a desire to assist the Cheyenne Police Department with non-emergent routine patrols and other duties that free up our officers for a more exigent police response. Hey, Larissa.
Hi.
So I have another screen up, and I'm going to give some more information while this screen is up here. The COP program started in Cheyenne in the 1990s. When the program started, there were a few requirements. There was no leadership structure. There were no uniforms. There were no radios for COPs to use. COPs patrolled in their own vehicles. And the only task that they had was to patrol neighborhoods looking for crimes. And if they saw anything, they'd use their own phone system to call in and report that. So it's come a long way since then. Now they are sworn volunteer community service officers with the Cheyenne Police Department, which basically that means that they don't just walk in and walk out. They actually are sworn in by the mayor to do the duties that they do. And that the swearing in process was established because several years ago, they wanted us to start doing parking enforcement in business centers like in Walmart, around the mall. And we would write tickets for handicap violations and fire lane violations. And in order to do that, they had to give us some status for the city. So they swear us in as community service officers. That's the same thing that you see the CSOs in Cheyenne. They were sworn in at the same level, but they are actually paid employees of the police department, whereas we are volunteers. So the regular CSOs, they have a much different duty expectation. They are, they will carry batons, they carry mace. Some of them are also carry arms. Some of them are doing services at the courthouse downtown. So they have a completely different job assignment than we do. We also patrol with at least one other COP member. We don't patrol on our own. There always needs to be some sort of accountability unless there's a special assignment that we're doing. So whether we're patrolling or doing like a downtown walking patrol, we'll be with a partner member. When we are on patrol, we do use police department vehicles. They have, in the past, they've assigned us specific vehicles that have markers with Citizens on Patrol on them. But as those rotate through the department and then end up on the lot where they're auctioned off, sometimes we use police vehicles that are marked with police markings. Sometimes we use the CSO vehicles as well. And while we're on patrol, if we're out doing patrol, we are always in direct contact with dispatch. So we can either contact them via our cell phones or through the police department radios. A lot of our major duties are patrolling neighborhoods, parks, schools, commercial lots, and we're looking for violations or unusual situations, things that just don't look right. We see people tagging, if we see kids being harassed by adults, things like that, we would call into the police department directly on the radio and report that, and they would send out a law enforcement officer. Then they would respond at a speed depending upon what the situation is. We perform walking patrols in the downtown area when the weather is appropriate. We issue tickets for parking violations, assist with traffic control, radar patrols. And so with these two items, with traffic control, we will respond to crashes. Sometimes it's a parade or other events that are going on in town that need traffic control for a dedicated specific period of time. The radar patrols are something that we do when, and I saw that Travis and Larissa were just out, but that's an event where we'll go out with our vehicle and we'll take a radar gun with us, and we'll log traffic speeds in particular areas, and we'll take that information and turn it into the police department, and they'll determine whether or not actually someone who can write tickets for speeding or enforce traffic speeds should be assigned to that particular area. As I said, we report suspicious activities, vandalism, tagging. We assist with the logistics for the DUI command van, which is the mobile command post. So sometimes that needs to be deployed in particular areas, and we can, with the proper training, take that vehicle out and set it up so that it can be utilized by the police department. We staff the PD front lobby desk, and at the same time we're doing that, we perform VIN checks. So while we're at the front desk, we greet a lot of the people that walk into the police department, give them direction, and then perform VIN checks for their vehicles that they've just purchased. We assist in the records department. So the records department has had staff issues going up and down because that's a civilian department within the police department. And so as they've needed help there, which they have over the last year because they lost some people due to COVID and funding restrictions due to tax losses. So we've had our individuals in there assisting them in whatever way that they have needed. And we also do our own internal training. So as people come into the program, we have individuals that are trained to train new members. The requirements to be part of the program is, the first thing is completing the Citizens Police Academy. And many of you may know about that, some of you may not. And basically that's the opportunity for the police department to share with the community what it is that the police department does. And that means they'll have about a 10 to 12 week class, a 10 to 12 episode class, where members from the community will come in and sit in on training regarding crime scene investigation and well, you name it, everything that the police department does, they have a class for that, a presentation for that process. It's very exciting, very interesting, and anybody in the community that can pass a background check is welcome to attend a Citizens Police Academy. But that is the stepping stone to get into the Citizens on Patrol program. Once you've gone through the CPA, and if you're interested, you can apply for the COP program. You'll go through background checks. You'll attend a candidate screening session. Basically, you'll meet some of the COPs, and we'll meet you, and just kind of share information back and forth and make sure that you understand what the program is all about, so that you don't have any preconceived notions of what being in the CPA, the Citizens on Patrol program is. Because we have some people come in thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get to go out there and do crime scene evaluation. So we make sure that people know what they're doing before, what the program is about before they come on board. Part of the training includes typically about 4 classroom sessions of about 4 hours each, plus 9 hours of in-field training. And that's 3 3-hour sessions where you're on patrol with a trainer. They'll take you around through the city. They'll teach you about our police vehicles. They'll teach you the type of work that we do and what we focus on in the field. You attend monthly meetings once a month. Typically, it's every 4th Tuesday. It starts at 6:30, lasts about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then you want to, as a regular member, exceed at least 9 hours of volunteer service per quarter. You attend other periodic trainings, and basically you really want to have a desire to help the police department. This is not just to come in so I have something to do once a week and I can't think of anything else to do. This takes a lot of dedication to do this, and that's where this program really starts from, is a desire to help and be dedicated to that desire. I have some other things I'll talk about here, but I'm going to stop for just a moment and ask the things that I've gone over so far. Is there any questions?
How long is the, I'm sorry, Barbara, go ahead.
I can ask, do people ever go from being citizens on patrol to actual police officers?
You know, we do have some young people join the program that haven't quite finished their education yet. A lot of times they start out as CSOs or community service officers where they're getting paid work, but sometimes they aren't ready for that yet as far as their time allowance is concerned, and they have started with the COP program. But usually it's by the time they're done with their training with COP, they're moving on to the CSO programs or right into the police department. So we don't get them for very long, but it does happen.
Okay, thank you.
How long is the academy that you mentioned? Is it several hours?
Yeah, the Citizens Police Academy, that is something that's going on actually right now. It started yesterday. It'll run for a month. And as I said, it's about 10 to 12 sessions. The classroom sessions usually run about 3 hours a night. Right now they're doing them on Mondays and Wednesday nights. And then they'll do 2 Saturday sessions, which are out in the field. One would be the range day. And as I talked about before, that's where you'll go out and you'll visit with the specialty teams like SWAT. And there's a few others, the bomb squad, that hold demonstrations out there. Sometimes when ammo is available, they give you the opportunity to learn to shoot some of the weapons that they have, the specialty weapons that they have. And so that's one of the days on a Saturday. The other day is a crime scene investigation day or crime scene training day. And that what they do is typically they'll set up 3 or 4 scenarios at the police department or nearby, and they'll have the people that are going through the CPA program come in maybe in a group of 3 or group of 4 and come upon a crime scene, which the 4 of you would try and evaluate what's gone on here. Maybe it's a murder, maybe it's a theft, maybe it's a lot of different things actually out of history here in the community that they set up, and they give you the opportunity to work as a team and do the work that they would do, and they stand beside you and kind of guide you through the process. It's a very interesting day.
Pretty cool.
Other questions at this time? So I was going to talk a little bit about what the police department, what the COP program came from, and I've already done that. I'm also going to talk a little bit about what it is today, and I may have already covered a few of these things, but today the COPs we continue to expand our duties. Besides the regular patrol that we used to do and some parking enforcement, today, as I said, we do the front lobby desk, perform VIN checks, perform radar patrols, assist in the records department, perform the parking enforcement. We deploy the mobile command post, assist in training law enforcement through role play. As we talked about the crime scenes that we do for the CPA, we also do some role play for the police department where they need to set up particular situations so that the officers can train in actual situations. The last couple of events that we've trained on. There was a hostage situation at the old airport building. And that was a training situation where there was a hostage that was taken by some people that had robbed a bank close by. Of course, this is a scenario. And then the SWAT team gets called in, and so they have to set up all around that situation and deal with a situation that they don't know what's going on inside. They've only been told, well, there's hostages, there's maybe 3 perpetrators, maybe 2. The bomb squad might be by, depending upon the situation, or the active crime scene, the crisis negotiation units. All those people come into play, and we get to play part of that day, either as perpetrators, as victims, as witnesses to the situation. So that's just one of the types of things that we do for them in the training. Also, when they're doing a role advancement where officers are actually training, a street officer wants to become a sergeant, they have to go through some training as well, and we might be involved with those scenarios as well. Let's see, I'm trying to catch up with my notes here. Other things that we get involved with are public relations events, things like Super Day, Cheyenne Frontier Days, Neighborhood Night Out, and of course the Citizens Police Academy, as I talked about before. So we play a lot of roles in a lot of different situations. It's not just getting in the car and putting around for a couple hours and then going home for the night. And I'll just kind of close here with some of the things that we've looked at over the last year. In 2020, the COPs, we missed out on a lot of opportunity because of COVID. We missed out on doing our regular duties. We missed out on a week and a half, almost 2 weeks of Cheyenne Frontier Days. That's typically, we start at 5 o'clock in the morning and work until midnight in any form of assistance, whether it's controlling foot traffic or controlling car traffic, lots of different things. Sometimes we're towing vehicles from areas around the avenues that are parked illegally. And so even though we missed several opportunities to do the work last year, we still, between all of us, put in 3,045 hours of volunteer time for the police department. And this year, we're getting back on track, and already as of the end of March, we've totaled up 1,040 hours. So I expect that we'll exceed the 3,045 hours by quite a bit. Other than that, what else would you like to know? And I'll take this screen off. I'll stop sharing my screen and go back to a normal screen.
Is there an age, is there a maximum age requirement?
It starts at age 18. And after that, no, most of the time people either move out of the territory, or they just age out in the sense that they don't have the mobility that they used to have to get out and do some of the work that they used to do. And what we do now is we're looking at a lot more internal jobs than we used to have. And those would be jobs like in the records department, at the front lobby ambassador, doing VIN checks. And we keep trying to expand the type of work that we can do inside the police department to assist, where we're not just out on patrol, or where it doesn't require 2 people to do the work, like in records or at the front desk. So no, there's not.
So people 65 and older are welcome to join.
Sure. Okay, well, I'll turn it back over to you, Bonnie. Thank you for this opportunity to make this presentation, and thank you for the questions.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. I'm gonna check out now.